I think every Nitro Type player, both new and experienced, can probably think of a few things that they'd want to see added to the game. As someone with over 7 years of experience in this game, I think I have a few ideas that would make the game far more interesting than it currently is. Today, I'll be giving an in-depth explanation of 5 features I would want to see added to the game, why they would improve the game, and how feasible the features would be. Before I get started, I think it's important to mention a few things you should know. First of all, I livestream on YouTube every Thursday at 7 PM and every Sunday at around 1:30 PM. I give away a lot of Nitro Type cash during these, so definitely make sure to join if you want an opportunity to win some cash. The first feature that I'd want to add is a built-in community page. For those of you watching who remember the Nitro Type news post comment section, this feature would essentially bring it back to life in its own page. It wouldn't go quite as in-depth as Discord in terms of the opportunity to build servers and direct messaging systems, but it would allow players to talk to each other in the game. Perhaps there could be ongoing threads of conversation that get pinned at the top of the page, and players can start posts focused around specific topics as required. This page should be heavily moderated by trusted individuals within the community, and only accounts marked as non-school associated accounts would be able to see this page. This feature, in my opinion, would drastically improve the sense of community on Nitro Type. While platforms like Discord exist, the sense of community brought about by the old news comment section was pretty much unmatched. Having the ability for new players to talk to more experienced, even revered players would be really neat, and if the admin team participated, the page could be even better. As for feasibility, this feature wouldn't be terribly difficult to create, I can't imagine, but moderating it would be a challenge. Even with the ability to exclude school-related accounts from participation, the presence of the feature itself could serve as a deterrent for schools looking to use Nitro Type to allow their students to practice their typing skills. With that being said, the benefits outweigh the potential challenges, and I think that adding this feature may help Nitro Type feel more like a community again. Another feature I'd like to see added would be a built-in competition page, similar to the Nitro Type Olympics for those of you who remember that. Both Nitro Type, individual players, and teams would host competitions for speed, accuracy, blitzing, and sessions. Additionally, players, teams, and admins could host trivia-style games similar to Quizlet or Kahoot that are built into the website and seamlessly integrate cash sending. Once a player starts a competition and the roster fills, Nitro Type locks that player's ability to spend more cash than they have set as the prize. For instance, if a player creates a competition for 50 players and has a total prize pool of $100 million, then after an adequate amount of people join, maybe like 30, the host cannot spend anything that puts their Nitro Type cash balance below 100 million. Once the competition is started, the end date cannot be edited, and upon the end of the competition, Nitro Type's system automatically sends the cash out to the winners. The primary benefit of adding a feature like this would be the increased presence of engaging features on the website. No longer would players feel bored with leagues or a Nitro Type event that runs for weeks after they complete it. Instead, they're constantly pushed to try new things and improve their skills. With the millions of users on the website in mind, I could say with confidence that players would probably not run out of competitions to enter. This feature would probably also boost a sense of community in the game. As for feasibility, this feature would be much more difficult to create and would require a lot of bug testing before it could be brought out of beta. Additionally, I'm sure it would take up a lot of server resources, but the increased competitions on the game would likely attract more players, which could lead to increased earnings for Nitro Type, which could be invested in more server space. Assuming a competent anti-cheat system is in place, this feature could absolutely be implementable to some degree. The third feature I'd like to add would be a Nitro Type content creators notification page. This feature is one I've been wanting to add to the game for a long time. Imagine that you're racing on Nitro Type and one of your favorite content creators starts a live stream on YouTube. Imagine that instead of relying on YouTube to send you that notification, which as we all know it sometimes doesn't, Nitro Type displays the most popular content creators' videos and live stream status in a box either in the top left or top right corner of the webpage, or perhaps it's displayed in a dedicated page on the main navigation ribbon. Of course, players would have the ability to adjust which, if any, notifications they receive, and content creators that want to be displayed on this page would have to have above a certain number of subscribers and be in good standing with the game and their community. This feature would be greatly beneficial to the game in the way that it would increase the sense of community, and it would also greatly benefit Nitro Type content creators. This feature would enable players to get connected with the content creators that could inspire them to become much better typists. With the right amount of gatekeeping and flexible notification settings, I think this feature could be incredibly helpful and it would be pretty feasible to add. The next feature I would want to add would be a graphics settings page. This one is pretty simple. Players would have the ability to change the track speed, enable or disable animations on the track, cars, and or other parts of the website, and increase or decrease resolution of the track and or other elements. They'd also be able to select which tracks they would want to display. Perhaps they could even earn and equip tracks as a type of loot, although that would probably be something to add to the loot page instead of throwing it into the graphics setting page. It's well known that many players use lower end computers and struggle with lag, so having the ability to disable graphics for better loading times would greatly improve the game. It would essentially make the game more accessible for players on all types of computers. While I don't know much about coding, I can imagine that this feature would be somewhat difficult to implement. Going in and adding a bunch of code to make the game more flexible would take a lot of time and bug testing and server resources, but if they could pull it off, I think the benefits greatly outweigh the time and effort that would be expended to make this feature possible. The final feature I'd want to add to the game is pretty simple and needs very little explanation. Botting programs have gotten more advanced over the years, and unfortunately, anti-cheat hasn't really risen to the occasion, at least on Nitro Type. It's important to note that the anti-cheat system on Nitro Type hasn't gotten more effective, but I still see new programs circumvent the new anti-cheat system, so we're not out of the woods yet. If community members can make an effective botting program, then it would seem logical that either the programmers hired by Nitro Type or an outsourced consultant on anti-cheat systems could create an effective anti-botting system. I've been told that other typing games don't have the rampant botting problem that Nitro Type has, and while it could just be because the other games aren't as popular and therefore receive less attention, or simply because other sites don't have the same incentive to bot, I still think that Nitro Type has a responsibility to take every reasonable action within their power to get rid of the botting problem without banning innocent players. Implementing this feature would make many more types of competition possible, which would yield massive improvements to the game. A world in which you don't have to question if someone is a botter is a pretty good one to me. As for feasibility, I think that this feature could be done with enough time, effort, and testing. While it would take a lot of time and money, and while it may not have a great return on investment, it would greatly improve the quality of the game and entice more people to take the competitive scene on Nitro Type seriously. Sometimes the right thing to do isn't easy nor financially beneficial, but if Nitro Type continues to include features that focus on competition, then they should also ensure that they're doing all that they can to keep those competitions fair. And that is it for today's video. Let me know what you think of my ideas, and let me know in the comments which features you want added to the game. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all in the next one.